Hello again. I'm gonna go over another story. This one is called Gaze, and it is the second story that I wrote. Now, if you have not heard the story, stop and go listen to it, because it's a type of story that when you finally realize what the story's about is just like, it's pretty memorable and shocking. So if you don't want to deny yourself that, I would go ahead and listen to it. It's a really short story. It's probably one of the shortest ones I've written. It's kind of actually based upon, unfortunately, a true story or inspired by true events. So this one is special to me in that it was the very first story that I ever had narrated. It was narrated by Captain Fright Night, who is just a very gifted and outstanding narrator. She doesn't do much anymore. Every once in a while, she's done a couple of my stories. She did this one, and she did another one called Day of the Worm, which I actually rewrote the story for her and Creeperoni so that it would be, the character would be a girl as opposed to a boy, and it just changed the dynamics of those stories. It was really cool. But for this story, going into spoilers, so if you haven't listened to the story yet, I really suggest you do, because it's pretty shocking. This story will make you itch, especially when you reveal who the character is, or the narrator. And it starts off as the narrator just discussing how he's been watching this person, or watching you, and just how infatuated he is with you, watching you sleep, watching you breathe. It just gives you this beautiful imagery of some psychotic stalker. You know, as the story progresses, and again, it's very, very short, the obsession starts to show, and it starts getting a little bit more disturbing and uncomfortable. And then a big reveal at the end is because you think that it's some type of like some kind of horny ghost or demon or vampire, and it's not, because this is not a supernatural story. It's based in reality, believe it or not. And think of it as like a demented Pepe Le Pew. You know how he used to sexually assault that cat? And yes, that was sexual assault, because he used to throw himself on that poor cat just because she got like paint spilled on her and had that white stripe down her back. He thinks he could rape her? No, no. Anyways, the story is about an insect, but not just any insect. The most vile, disgusting, gross fucking bug you can ever dream of encountering. The bed bug. Yes. I believe it was 2000. It was probably 2014, 2015. I started getting bites on my hands and on kind of my lower back. And what was weird was that they would only start to itch really bad about 3 or 4 in the afternoon. So this lasted for about a week, and I was getting pissed. I'm like, somebody here in this office has fleas, and they need to do something about it, because I'm getting bit. You know, because apparently my blood is delicious, and they can't help themselves. So somebody needs to take care of that in here. and so that weekend, and I don't know why I did it. I was just like, these bites are just getting worse, and they hurt. They really hurt. And I lifted up my sheets in my bed, and I looked, just for the hell of it. I don't even know why I did that, because bed bugs just didn't cross my mind. And then I saw it. And I've only ever saw one. I never saw any more. But that one was enough, and it was huge, and it was on the side of the bed, and it was just like this oval brown. And I literally got sick to my stomach when I saw it. And so that began, I would say, about 2 weeks of literal insanity, and probably some type of post-traumatic stress syndrome, because I was traumatic. I was oh god, I could feel them all the time on me, and I know who the motherfucker is who brought him into my house. We had a friend of mine stay over, and he turned out to be nasty, and it had to come from him. Nasty. You know, if you're gonna go visit somebody's house, wash your ass before you go over there, and clean your clothes. Anyways, so that 2 weeks of just insanity, literal insanity. I felt them on me. I could feel them under my skin. I was itchy all the time. And then you start reading about them and how they can see. They're one of the few parasites that actually don't reside on their host's body. They actually have like a little place that they go to every night and then travel back. And it was just. They can see your body heat, and they can tell when you're asleep, and they can measure your carbon dioxide levels and all this shit. And I just got worse and worse and worse. And then, you know, what really bothered me was, so this was in the winter, and it was actually a cold winter here. And so, you know, I was sleeping with pajama bottoms and tops, and they were biting me on my thighs and my lower back. And it was like, them little fuckers were having to travel up my pant leg, apparently. And because it was the only way, because it had to travel all the way up there, because you have the elastic band on your waist, and they had to travel up. Just gross. It's so gross. And so I spent like the next 2 weeks on my hands and knees with the flashlight trying to find them. I never found any more, because I just went to just this cleaning frenzy, and I got rid of them without an exterminator. Them crooks wanted to charge me $1,200 because they wanted to do the whole house, and but they never turned up anywhere else in the house. I bombed the hell out of that room. The one night, oh God. So the one night I used my pets as bait. Yeah. So I cleaned off the bed, and I made the dog and the cat sleep on the mattress in the middle, and I stayed up all night watching, because I knew that I was watching for them to come out, because for some reason I thought they were going to come out in a line, you know, like with the dinner bell ringing, but they never came out. But I was using them as bait. So I got rid of them, and next thing you know, about a year or so later, I just was sitting around, and I just had this idea, and you know, from the bug's point of view, and this is how it turned out. It struck a chord in quite a few people. Now, there's a few very memorable narrations that have been done on this one. The one that really comes to mind, and I just get a good laugh at, was one done by Dr. Creepin. And I'm going to put a link to that one, and I want to put a link down for Creeperoni, because she actually did this story before she got really popular. So that was kind of cool. But with Dr. Creepin, you're going to have to go to that one and look at the comments. His female audience fell in love with him. I turned that man into the sexiest narrator on YouTube. People were like, you know, they listened to this story and they were like, ooh, they just got all tingly. And so this is how talented I am. I can turn on women with bed bugs. That's how good I am. That's how good I made him. So, it's Dr. Creepin, if you're listening to me, your popularity, you know, you owe it to me. No, it was his voice. That voice was, you know, it was fucking sexy. That's a sexy man right there. And I am confident enough to be able to say that, Dr. Creepin, you are a sexy man. So if you get a chance, check out those comments, and they're pretty funny. And he takes it with a good stride and quite a bit of humility and modesty. But I could tell he was kind of embarrassed. But that was funny. So check it out. This one was called Gaze, and I hope you enjoy it. Bye.